Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. This is the first video for my channel. It has been a long time coming. Now this episode is going to be a brief overview on how I got involved in the hobby, showing you guys exactly where I am at the moment and then where I plan on taking my hobby in the future. Showing you guys exactly what works for me and what doesn't work for me. This channel is going to be pretty much based on custom building vivariums and paludariums and other sorts of reptiles and amphibian enclosures. Showing you guys how to custom build misting systems and lighting, showing you guys how to build the enclosures themselves, how to do custom backgrounds, and also how to do drip walls, etc. So if that is something that you guys are interested in, please stick around. My name's Dean, and you're watching Vivscape. Dean Jansen. I'm born and raised in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, which is where I still am at the moment. I have been into animals my whole life. Now, it wasn't until I was starting high school that I started to get into reptiles. I have an uncle that had a fairly large collection of reptiles, started to get into them there, then had a few mates, realised that they had a small collection themselves, and I was pretty much hooked ever since. It wasn't until 2003 that I got my first license, and that was a basic license. And the two first animals that I had in that license were a green tree frog and a white-lipped tree frog. After that, I then got into dragon species, starting into like water dragons and bearded dragons, etc. Then went into skinks, geckos, and then got into monitors. Now, I started to get fairly heavily into the monitor species. I had roughly 5 or 6 species at one time, and absolutely loved them. Thought, why not get into snakes? So 4 years after that, I then acquired my first snake, was pretty much hooked, and acquired a small collection of those. I then got my Schedule 2 license, which is called an advanced license here, and where I could keep like venomous species of snakes, crocodiles, and other rare lizard species, etc. That was when I then started getting into some of the rarer species of frogs, and thought, why not build some beautiful, aesthetically pleasing looking enclosures. I then went on to Google Images, started doing some research, wondering what the hell were these vivariums and paludariums. I have no clue what they are. Did some more research, worked out how to build them, realised that they were quite large in Europe and America for their dart frog collections, and realised that there was no one really doing them here. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. I then did about a year of research before I then built my first vivarium, which is the one behind me here on the right. The tank's been going roughly for 3 or 4 years. That tank has then gone through 3 different changes, and has been pretty much in its state at the moment for the last 15 months. I then have started building more and more and more. I then sold quite a few of my vivariums because I didn't have room. And since then I figured, why not deck my whole double car garage out in custom planted tanks. So that's what the plan is for this YouTube channel. Now, one thing I will say is that all these tanks are going to be custom built, and I will be building them on this channel. I will be trying to develop new skills and new ways of building these things. I am a member on quite a few of the Vivarium and Paludarium Facebook pages, and there are constant questions being asked. How do I build my substrate? how do I build my background, what silicon is safe for my animals, what foam is safe for my animals, etc., etc. And pretty much doing your research is going to be the best way to work out what works for us here in Australia. We are quite limited to what we can buy here. There is no misting systems built here, so everything comes from America, and it's quite expensive, like your Mist Kings and what else is it? Monsoons. So yeah, I figured why not custom build everything for myself, and figured why not do a YouTube channel showing all these different ways I do things. Now you can clearly see behind me that they do work quite well. Now I am doing something right, so I think. And pretty much there's been a few things that I've done that have been fails, but there has been more positives than negatives when it comes to this hobby. Now one thing I probably haven't told you guys is I am a landscaper, and I am involved in the garden maintenance side of things also. So plants are another passion of mine, which is the one reason why I love building these tanks so much. I enjoy keeping plants, especially rare tropical species of plants. I then also enjoy keeping the reptiles and amphibians. So putting the two together, I figured was a no-brainer. So yeah, so I figured I'll quickly go with these two tanks with these guys. Now these two tanks here are second-hand fish tanks. They're 4-foot fish tanks. Now they did have cracks in the bottom of them. That is now the back of the tank. So now these tanks are 4 foot, which is 1200 tall. This one closest to me is 455 wide and is the same front to back. The one next to it is 355 wide, and I'm pretty sure it's slightly shallower than what it is wide. Now both these tanks are pretty much built the exact same. Now one thing I know that we can't buy here is Euroslider style tanks. Now Euroslider style tanks are tanks that have a vent where the door is, glass sliding front, and they're pretty simple to build. Now, like I said, these are second-hand fish tanks, so I have custom built the front of these. So there's a substrate dam, which is the glass, sheet of glass in the back. There is a support piece of glass at the front, and then 2 glass wedges on both sides. Then a piece of glass tracking on the bottom and on the top, a piece of mesh, and then a small piece of plastic, L-shaped plastic to hold the venting down. And that just allows that to air out. The idea is for the air to come up. It then comes up the front panels of glass for the doors, and that helps defog the doors so you can actually see and view the animals and plants inside. Now these tanks aren't split at the top, it is a solid piece of glass. So I've drilled for the misting system, which is the bulkhead at the top, and then a small hole at the back where the fan is for the cord to go out. These two tanks are going to be for 2 different sorts of tree frogs that don't require a lot of UV. But the next 2 tanks that I'm building at the moment have custom split lids for mesh, and that's just going to be for UV for other tree frogs. Now all the mosses in these tanks are aquatic style mosses, so meaning that they're more aquarium based. They can grow underwater, but as you can see, they can grow out of water. With correct lighting and moisture and humidity, they grow quite well. Now there's 2 different sorts of mosses in these tanks. There is peacock moss and Java moss. And then there are quite a few different species of bromeliad. Now our tree frogs don't really need bromeliads. Now dart frogs do, because they do tend to deposit their tadpoles inside the bromeliad which hold water. But for our tree frogs, it just acts as another hiding spot or another spot to sit on. And then a lot of the other plants aren't too rare. There are a couple of rare orchids and stuff like that in these, but pretty much everything you can buy from Bunnings or any indoor garden centre. But yeah, these are paludariums, these aren't vivariums. Now what it means by paludarium is these tanks don't have substrate on the bottom of the tank. These are full of water, and that is what's supposedly what you need to breed tree frogs. Now a vivarium does require substrate, meaning that it has soil at the bottom and then plants with a drainage system, which is called a false bottom, and all that is to allow the water to drain through the soil and keeping the soil nice and dry instead of being stagnant and full of water. Okay guys, that's it from me today. I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and any comments please leave that in the comment section below. I also have an Instagram and a Facebook page. It's viv_scape, so please go over there and give that a like also. So that's it from me today. My name's Dean and you've been watching Vivscape.